thanks to the supporters of channel member Tyler Huffman. Oh, folks, remember when money used to be a problem here at Wembley? Those days are long over. We've just spent £500,000 on a new striker. £500,000! Not only that, we're about to get another £1 million for Dan Berry. Money is just flowing. Hello and welcome to part 122 of Wembley to Wembley. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two games for you just towards the end of the January transfer window, away against Birmingham in the FA Cup as we look to get a money-spinning FA Cup run going for another year. Or are we beyond that now? Are we actually trying to win the FA Cup? We might be. We're also at home against Colchester in the league. And as you can see, since you were last with me, the league has been going really rather well. I think we got as far as Middlesbrough in the last episode. You can see we won the next several matches, including victories over Manchester United and Everton. Lots of people have asked me to show what's happened to Manchester United in this save to turn them into a championship team. They've kind of bobbed up and down in the championship over the last couple of years. So they were a consistent kind of top 7 Premier League team for a long time, but then they finished 11th that year. So I'm guessing, and this is guesswork, we'll have a look at the landmarks page for them in a second, but I'm guessing that's the first season they didn't qualify for Europe, and I imagine not qualifying for Europe caused a financial meltdown. You can see they're in the process of a board takeover now. So they failed to qualify for Europe that year. The very next year they got relegated, came back up from the championship through the playoffs, but then got relegated again and are now just a mid-table championship team. So if we go back to 2037-38, I'm assuming that season there was some kind of financial problems. So in addition to not getting into Europe, they also had a board takeover. Actually, to be fair, they won the Conference League, so they got into Europe through winning the Conference League anyway, so that ruins that theory. There's just a lot of board takeovers. So there's a takeover there, there's a takeover there. There's no administrations or anything. I guess it's just good old-fashioned poor management then. So you can see they had several seasons where they sold a lot of players and didn't really buy anybody. So starting that year, they signed one guy but sold £75 million worth. The following year, they signed nobody but sold £42 million worth. The next year, signed nobody, sold £62 million worth. And it's kind of carried on since. They've become a selling club until their return to the Premier League, but then got relegated again and had to sell even more. So I think they've just had a succession of poor owners and poor managers and become a selling club. I mean, they had Thiago Motta as manager for nearly 9 years. Since then, they've not had a manager survive more than 270 days. Goodness me. They've even got the FM24 manager hack who came in. He's great everywhere he goes. He's only a scout at Leeds now. That is insane. He's my greatest nemesis in FM24. He's impossible to manage against. And he's just a scout at Leeds because of how badly he failed at Manchester United. The current manager there, Todd Kane, who's only previously managed Barnsley and in real life is currently playing for Manchester 6 or maybe Charlton or maybe Wigan. He's the Manchester United manager, but that's what's gone on with Manchester United. We don't care too much about that, though. They have offered me the job again over the course of the season. Every time they sack their manager, they offer it to me. I'm not going to Manchester United. But you can see we went on a nice long unbeaten run, which secured our spot nicely at the top or towards the top of the championship. We've had a little bit of a wobble as we've hit January. 3 games without a win, including 2 defeats, 1 against Portsmouth, 1 against West Ham. And this is what the league table looks like. 28 games gone. We're second in the league, 4 points behind Middlesbrough, level on points with Fulham, although we do have a game in hand and a better goal difference over them, and hoping that we can cling on to an automatic promotion spot, although I do still have that dream of our first trip to Wembley being in the Championship playoff final. Balls to that, let's win the league and win the FA Cup. We won the third round of the FA Cup against Yeovil. We now play Birmingham, who are just below us in the Championship, so this is going to be a tough one for us, but none of that's what you're here for. What you're here for is to find out who I spent £500,000 on. And it's this guy, Dimitris Nicolaou, a 24-year-old striker. You know I've been banging on about wanting a proper striker for ages. Yes, this guy has only got 4 goals for Charlton in League One this year. Got 7 goals for Charlton in the Championship last year. Although, to be fair, that was in 13 starts. So I think that's probably a better record than that one. But although I'm not an attribute guy, he's got 14 finishing, 15 acceleration, 15 pace. I mean, he's in like everything I want out of an advanced forward. He's only 5'9", but I think this guy is going to score goals. £475,000. It is a big amount of money to invest. But you know what? We've got loads of money now. £1.4 million in the bank. There's still spare transfer budget knocking around as well, although we are going to have to put some of that into wage budget to cover the new signings that have just happened. But as I alluded to in the intro, if we have a look at our clauses, there are 2 clauses on Dan Berry we can just let Barnsley buy out now. And I still don't really understand what's gone on here with Dan Berry, because he's gone to Barnsley for £2.9 million. He's not played a single game for them in the league. This is a Barnsley team who are 10th in the Championship. They're playing this guy at left back ahead of him, which I guess fair enough, he's good. But in that case, why spend all that money on my left back? That's the part that makes no sense. And now they're going to give me another £1 million. So yes, please, we'll have that. And that goes straight into the kitty, gives us £500,000 to spend. We've got £2.5 million in the bank now. We're within our wage budget, and we've still got a week of the transfer deadline still to go. What we probably should have done is done this first, but we'll ask for more money there. We'll increase our junior coaching budget as well. Should we ask again for a new stadium? Are we close to maxing out this one? We kind of are. Imagine if this is the episode where we get the new stadium. We are consistently upgrading our facilities now as well. They're still rubbish, but every time they get finished, we do the next lot. So we're making progress. We're becoming a real club. We're preparing for the Premier League. Now we just need to make sure that we get there. So first up, let's keep our cup run going. We're away against Birmingham. Now, we've been down this road before, boys and girls, so a little bit of advanced warning. This is the first game I've played in over a week. I've been away. Everything up to this point was pre-recorded, so we're already in a bad run, so we're probably going to lose. Although, going into a bad run, then having a week off, they might welcome me back with a win. The good old RNG. But this is the team for the game against Birmingham. We've got Slocum in goal, a back four of Saltner, Scholes, Green and Di Girolamo. Dixon and Christodoulou in midfield. Duffy, Lambert and Gardner then behind Murray up front. Where's Nicolou? I hear you cry. He's both cup-tied and injured for this game, so you're not going to see him in this match. Fingers crossed he'll be fit enough for the league game that's going to come up after it. And can I just point out, Adam Duffy, he's just been brilliant. We were trying to get rid of him. He has been brilliant. The only problem is we're struggling to get him tied down to a new contract. You can see we've got a contract offer in for him at the moment, but he's gone from being a guy we were loaning out to the Western Sydney Wanderers and then sent to Carlisle before bringing back to arguably our key attacking player. What a glow up that guy has had. Let's play a football match. So away against Birmingham, we'd like the win, please and thank you, but who knows? Like I say, it's well over a week since I've played a game of Football Manager. Anything could happen here, which I do need to get myself back up to speed playing the game again. Because for those of you who have been paying attention to the community page, to the Twitter, to the Instagram, any of the places, the network game is back today. In fact, as you're watching this video, the network game is back right now. It's terrible planning. If you want to go and see the network game, if you don't know what the network game is, it's where I beat Zealand, Dr. Benji and Work the Space in multiplayer Football Manager. We're managing Premier League teams. I don't know who I'm managing yet. It's live on Twitch right now, twitch.tv/LOLLUJO. So when you're done with this video, go and watch that. Zealand's playing with us. The chances of us having hit continue, very slim up to this point. So you're fine watching the rest of this video, then coming along and watching the network game. You won't have missed very much. We probably haven't even allocated the teams at this point. But come on over, hang out with us. We'll be live for 3 or 4 hours today. We're going to be doing it at least once a week between now and FM25. And there will be highlights appearing on the channel. Hopefully tomorrow, if Topher pulls his finger out. My editor, Edit Topher. As long as he pulls his finger out, there'll be highlights tomorrow, which does mean there won't be a Wembley tomorrow. Wembley will just be pushed back to the weekend, the way we do when we have midweek videos. So, network game is back, boys and girls. As someone so correctly put in the comments on the community page, tell me FM25 is delayed without telling me FM25 is delayed. We've all got bills to pay, boys and girls. The network game, goodness me. Come along and watch it. subscribe and watch all the highlights 3 times. Oh, Murray's missed a sitter. That's why we had to spend £500,000 on a striker, because he's missed an absolute sitter. But we do have a set piece. It's going to be an in-swinging corner from Duffy. It looks like we're loading up that front post. In fact, we've gone far post where Christodoulou is lurking. It ends up with Lambert on the edge of the area. Green, back out to Duffy again. He can curl one in from there. He's offside, so he didn't. He tried to, but was both offside and then kicked the ball into the opposition player as well. So didn't really go to plan. We've dominated this first half. We really should be 1-0 up. Now we're trying it with a long throw, looking for Dixon. Doesn't get anywhere near him. Dixon's like 6'10". If you can't find him with a long throw, he's probably stood too far away. Just adjust your positioning, young man. My word. Right, it's back with Scholes. Scholes forward to Saltmer. Saltmer over the top for Duffy. And there's Lambert trying to get into a position where he can make something happen. It's back with Duffy again. And there are men lining up in the middle. If Duffy wants to slide it across to one of them, he decides to have this shot. And it cannons back off the goalkeeper, balloons up into the air, and the chance once again is wasted. And I think we might live to regret this period of creating all these chances and not coming out with a goal. Birmingham have actually had more possession than us, but we've created the better chances. But if you don't score when you're on top, if you don't score when you're creating chances, you do leave yourself open to being hit with a sucker punch, especially against one of the better teams in the Championship at their home ground. They would have felt quite confident coming into this game, especially looking at our form coming into it. So I think we probably had our chance in that first half, and Birmingham will be feeling pretty confident going into the second half that with a couple of tweaks, they can make that possession turn into something that leads to football goals. Gardner on the right-hand side goes past his man beautifully. Gardner showing his pace and power, and what a goal from Gardner. I mean, it's come from literally nowhere. What a load of waffle I was spouting about Birmingham feeling good. Gardner's just picked the ball up in midfield. There's nothing to this move. He's just got the ball there. He's taken his time to kind of pick his direction, but then goes past his man, just gets his head down and charges. Goes past the same man again and then fires it past the Birmingham keeper. It's 1-0 to Wembley, and we've got fingertips on the 5th round of the FA Cup, which of course not only comes with prize money for each round, but all these away games in front of large crowds. I mean, I know 14,000 isn't massive. It's more than we play in front of on a weekly basis, though. So all these away games stack up the cash. I know money isn't as much of a big deal for us now as it has been previously, but we are pushing for promotion for the Premier League. If we could sneak in one more really good signing before the end of the window, that'd be nice. That'd be handy. Right. Duffy's shattered, so Fenty's going to come off. Come on, sorry. Christodoulou can come off for Brown, our previous record signing. Dixon can come off for Castles. Everyone's shattered. Gardner's going to come off as well. Polworth can come on for him. And that'll do. 4 changes. Just get rid of the really, really tired boys. I'd really like a second goal around about now, but this is what I mean about wanting to be able to make some signings. The likes of Fenty and Polworth coming on in those wide areas, they're not necessarily pushing for promotion to the Premier League kind of substitutions. And that's the kind of thing that we need to be working on. I could have brought Tanjo on. Why did I not bring on Tanjo? I'm going to bring Tanjo on now. Polworth can drop back to right back. Tanjo can come on the right-hand side. I didn't even see him sat down there because he was sat in the striker position rather than the midfielder position on my bench, because he's basically been our backup striker all season because we haven't had one. But now we've got one, so he can be a midfielder again, I guess. This is where I'm a little bit worried that we didn't capitalise on our control earlier on in the game. It's still only 1-0, 10 minutes to go. We've weakened our team with our substitutions because we don't have much in the way of squad depth. And this is where Birmingham will still probably fancy their chances of getting themselves back into a game that possession-wise they've controlled quite easily. Brown, that's rubbish from him in midfield. Polworth won the ball back, but then Brown didn't really know whether he was coming or going. He's supposed to be in there as the ball-winning midfielder. He did the opposite. He was the ball-losing midfielder, and it's directly led to the Birmingham equaliser. And this is where the comment section is going to come at me again. Kev, you made too many substitutions. Yeah, my players were all shattered. We're still training in a shed. Once we've got proper training facilities, we might actually have the stamina to get through football matches. But remember, not only have we not got any decent training facilities, we're also gegenpressing 3 times a week, and we're shattered because we're doing it with a tiny squad. I hate this game. I mean, I called it. I absolutely called that this is where this game was going. We've been the better team all the way through, but didn't capitalise when we should have done. And because of that, we we've got ourselves knocked out of the FA Cup and it's hideous. And this is why we need a new striker, because we've done a 1.86 XG, only scored 1 goal. We need somebody prolific up front. I don't know if the guy who's only got 4 goals this season is going to be that guy, but he's the best we could afford with the budget that we had. So hopefully he will be. This is heartbreaking. We've done quite well here, and then just giving it all away. I'm never going to not make those substitutions. I'm not going to have redlining tired players on the pitch. I'm just never going to allow that. I know some people don't mind it. I can't do it. If they're that tired, they're coming off. We have a squad for a reason. If the squad's not good enough, if anything, sends a message to the board that I need more money so I can build a bigger squad. I take no responsibility for this. This is down to the budgets that we're playing with. This is not my fault. 3-1 feels like it massively flatters Birmingham. They're still on an XG of 0.65. Questions potentially needing to be asked of our defence and our goalkeeper as well. I think taking Christodoulou off massively weakened that midfield. Brown is not the man to play in that role, I don't think. And that's now a pretty rough run of form. We play Colchester next, who are... Where are they? Down in the relegation battle. But before then, we've still got money to spend. Do we go and spend some money? We might go and... Do we need another midfielder or maybe a proper right back? They're probably the areas. All our right backs are on loan and none of them are very good. See, Dixon and Christodoulou are fine as the starters, but Brown and Castles are not fine coming on for them. So I think maybe we need another body in there. We've got £500,000 to spend. Let's go see what we can find. One quick note, I've decided to play Colchester off camera because I've just seen the game after that is Middlesbrough. The Middlesbrough who are top of the league. So that allows me to finish the transfer window and show you a top of the table clash. So we'll do that one instead. Colchester off camera now. I mean, it doesn't matter to you because it's happening off camera, but it is happening now, sort of, in a couple of days. I've got transfers to do first. Leave me alone. Why you always got to watch everything that I do? Just let me get on with playing the game. So nice little 4-1 win over Colchester in that game off camera means we go into the Middlesbrough game just 1 point behind them, knowing victory does put us top of the championship, albeit with Middlesbrough having a game in hand over us, but we do have a better goal difference than them, so would be quite nice to do. Transfer-wise, we didn't really do a lot. In the end, we signed another guy on loan. I don't think I'd already told you about Polworth, by the way. Anthony Polworth joined us earlier in January on loan from Liverpool until the end of the season as another option on the right hand side. You saw him in the last match come on the right wing. He's really a right back. But we've also signed Keanu Janicki, who's a 22-year-old former England under-20 international on loan from Brighton until the end of the season. He is a central midfielder, not quite the profile of central midfielder I was looking for, more likely to play in the attacking midfield role. But there was slim pickings, seriously slim pickings. He comes in from Brighton, having played a full season on loan at QPR in League One last year. The only other piece of significant business was Adam Duffy has become the highest paid player in the history of Wembley FC. What a turnaround this man has had in the last 12 months. £9,500 a week. The man's loaded. Did I tell you I got a new contract, by the way? After all this time, I finally got a proper contract. £4,400 a week. Still probably the lowest paid manager in the championship, but can finally afford to move out of the sleeping bag underneath the burger van I've been living in for the last nearly 20 years. I've got a house and everything. Loving life. But yeah, both me and Duffy still earns twice what I do, but the pair of us living it large. We headed straight to the Apple store and bought ourselves iPads because we couldn't afford them previously. And now we can. It's lovely. So this is the team for the game against Middlesbrough. It's Slocum in goal, a back four of Saltmer, McBride, Green and Di Girolamo, Christodoulou and Dixon in midfield, Duffy, new boy Janicki and Gardner as the attacking midfield three. And then Rory Murray continues up front, who I was potentially a little harsh on him in the last match. He's got 13 goals for us so far this season, but it's not quite a goal every other game. His average rating is nothing to write home about. He scored more goals than maybe we thought he would after how he'd been doing for Portsmouth. But Nicolau's time will come. He came off the bench against Colchester. I do expect him to be quite the goal scorer for us, but not rushing him in today. McBride can only do 75 minutes. He's recovering from an injury, so we'll just have to manage his game time as the game goes on. But for now, let's just focus on beating Middlesbrough, heading up to their place and winning a football match. Wouldn't that be a thing? It would be lovely to finish the episode top of the championship, knowing that we are in very good shape to push on towards the Premier League. It would be less fun if we ended the episode with Fulham very much breathing down our necks as the former Premier League teams with all their fancy parachute money enjoy the fact that they've got money and we don't. I mean, there were teams spending £30 million in January in this league. We've not spent £30 million in the history of our football club. There's levels and we're well below everyone else's, and that goal has been disallowed, and that is important. I mean, even that guy's name looks fancy. We don't have anyone called Nazarino. Imagine if we had a Nazarino, it'd be a whole new world. That's a lovely throw from Duffy, finds McBride. McBride plays it across to Janicki, who's got space on the edge of the area, 10 minutes into his debut, and that's what we brought. That's not what we brought him in for. We brought him in to offer more cover in the double pivot that we've got, but we're playing him further forward, and goodness me, as he made an immediate impact on his debut. Good hold-up play from McBride. That's what you get for having a giant receiving the long throws. And they just left Janicki with so much space. Janicki? Probably Janicki. It's taken a massive deflection, but honestly, who cares? The important thing is it's gone in. We're 1-0 up. More of that, please. We'll have the final whistle now. It's the opposite of what I was moaning about with Birmingham. We've had a chance and we took it immediately. And now they've got in behind us here. Our back four looking very flat. And I mean, it's simple, isn't it? You'd think as a team who's come up from non-league, we'd be able to handle diagonal ball forward, nodded down to the guy alongside you. But I mean, it's the simplest of goals and we just didn't seem to know what to do about it. You can't be conceding that goal as us. That's like conceding from a corner. We're supposed to be the plucky, up-and-coming team that knows how to do that kind of thing. We shouldn't be having that done to us. That's hideous. Right, it is Middlesbrough on the attack again. They've got a throw, and they've decided to go for the short throw because they're cowards, as opposed to us with our excellent long throws, which you've already seen work in this match. That Nazarino guy looks useful, doesn't he? I mean, I don't know much about him other than the fact that he's causing all kinds of problems. They're playing such a basic 4-4-2 as well, and we've seen the front two work brilliantly together already. Maybe a 4-4-2 can be in our future, he says, as he's just brought in an attacking midfielder who's made an immediate impact. But we have also got a new record signing striker sat on the bench who could go alongside our top scoring striker, and maybe they could do front two things. Although, to be fair, I'm sat here whinging. We're away from home against the only team in the league who are above us. If we come out of this with a draw, we're going to be absolutely fine with that. We're still a point ahead of Fulham. There's still a gap between us three and then Birmingham. This is fine. We don't need to come here and win. A win would be lovely. A draw's fine. We're not trying to win the league. We're just trying to get into the Premier League. We don't mind if we have to do it through the playoffs. We'd obviously quite like to do it automatically, though. And that is a little bit too close for comfort. The in-swinging corner and the header goes just wide of that far post. But now we're starting with Middlesbrough from a goal kick. They're either going to score a wonder goal or we're going to take the ball off them and annoy them. It's looking more... Oh, no, it is going to be the annoying option. Janicki plays it forward to Murray, who turns beautifully. I think he was probably offside. He was offside. It was a nice little turn. That's the turn of a man who knows there's a guy breathing down his neck for his starting spot. We're going to offer some encouragement. We are going to bring on the new boy after this highlight. Duffy plays the ball in, looking for anyone in a yellow shirt. It ends up with Gardner. Gardner just needs to drill it across the area. Instead, plays it back to Christodoulou, who shoots from range. And their goalkeeper's caught that. That's just arrogance. You can't be catching that. That was wellied at him. Right. Dimitris Nicolaou comes on to play up front. Dixon's going to come off as well. Brown comes on for him. That will do for now, but we get a chance to have a look at the new boy, the £500,000 man, the most expensive player in the history of Wembley Football Club. Hopefully he can come on and make the same kind of immediate impact that the other new boy has made, and he's going to need to because we've just gone a goal down, although that one's been disallowed as well. We're taking a few liberties today. We're playing this offside trap. Obviously, we're not playing an offside trap. We've caught them offside twice, though, and been caught flat the third time. So I guess you could argue we had the opportunity to maybe catch them offside 3 times and just ballsed it up on the one they scored from. Saltmer, looking for a Wembley player, finds McBride, who we do need to take off, actually. He was only supposed to do 75 minutes, wasn't he? How is he doing fitness-wise? He doesn't seem to be doing too badly. Saltmer, looking for options again. Once again, plays it across to McBride. McBride to Green. And now we're just knocking the ball around nice and calm. Christodoulou forward to Gardner. And there's Janicki. And De Girolamo's on the overlap, bursts into the area and hits the post. I mean, that was great work from him at right back. You could argue we've got a new striker in the middle. Just square it for him. Right, we are going to take off McBride because I don't want to risk breaking him. Seb Scholes can come on for him. And now we've got a lot of tied legs. Duffy, now he's the most highest paid player in the history of the club, playing rubbish. Love that. We are going to take off Yannicki as well, who is not played a lot of football for it. Lambert actually got 2 goals in the last game, so it's a little bit harsh on Lambert that he was immediately thrown out of the team. Murray doesn't get that kind of treatment, but because Lambert's not a striker, you can be a little bit rougher with them. Right, Middlesbrough have gone down to 10 men here, and as a result have taken off Nazarino. So they're down to 10 men. They've taken off the guy who's apparently been their best player. This is our opportunity to go top of the league. Part of me thinks go attacking, but then the other part of me does have a little bit of coward in him and doesn't want to, and he's happy with the 1-1. And I think we're probably all happy with a 1-1 here, and we're just letting the game peter out. It would have been nice to see something from any of these attackers. We didn't see a highlight after the red card, and I'm comfortable with it. 1-1 away against Middlesbrough. We absolutely take that going in, and now we've got, 16 games left to just not mess up. So hopefully the next episode you see will be us securing promotion. You would hope. It might not be. We'll see. But we'll see. I mean, obviously, if we have another run like that, we might end up falling out of it and have to work a little bit harder. But if we continue sticking into that spot, I'd quite like to secure promotion in the next episode, which, remember, will be in a couple of days' time, because tomorrow you're going to get network game highlights, and you'll like them because the network game is a lot of fun. But if you've enjoyed this, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.